Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the CF Foundation's 65th anniversary celebration. We've been celebrating 65 years of progress all year long, but what better way and what better day to get together to really celebrate than today, 6/5. I'm hoping that the decorations behind me will let you know how festive this occasion is and that we really are going to celebrate. Although we're physically apart, I'm grateful that we can be together, yes, to celebrate, but also that we can thank you. Thank you for making today possible. Thank you for making the progress possible. I also want to thank the CF Foundation team for coming up with a creative way for us to get together to celebrate and to also stay connected. In the earliest days of the CF Foundation, it was a group of parents who got together with one goal in mind, to try to help their kids with CF have some life. Now fast forward 65 years and where are we? Now we have adults with CF who have their own kids or their own grandkids. We have young people with CF who are headed to college, who are walking down the aisle or earning that big promotion. We have kids with CF who are playing soccer, who are singing in the choir or becoming tech experts. It's this spirit of always pushing boundaries which has driven us and continues to make us stronger today. So I want to take a brief moment just to reflect on some of the progress over the last 65 years. And one of the places we have to start is with the Care Center Network, an amazing group of physicians and nurses and caregivers who provide the best care possible for people with CF. And even now in these challenging times, they're using strategies like telehealth, which we're helping them with, to make sure that people with CF continue to get the best care possible. Because of you, we have 70 thriving CF Foundation chapters around the country who are serving their local community. Because of you and because of years of work at great strides, we were able to celebrate this past year the approval of Trikafta, the transformative medication which is making the lives of so many people with CF better. Because of you, we will continue to push forward with research, to commit millions of dollars each year to advancing transformative therapies for people with CF, and ultimately together, we will cure cystic fibrosis. So thank you. Today, on 6/5, 65 Roses today, we are not only celebrating 65 years of progress, we're reaffirming our commitment that we will not stop until CF stands for Cure Found. So it's my great pleasure now to be able to introduce our hosts for the day. The first is one of the most passionate and relentless champions of CF in the CF community that I know. He's also the chairman of our Volunteer Leadership Council. He's only outmatched in his dynamism and commitment by our second co-host, who happens to be his daughter, and who's also a key member of the CF Foundation's Community Partnerships team. So please join me in welcoming our hosts today, Mike Beatty and Piper Beatty Welsh. Let the festivities begin.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Boyle, for that incredible introduction. And more importantly, we've been watching the wonderful picture montage that's been up on the screen, and we've been following the chat. And we just want to start off today by giving a quick little shout out to Grace. We understand that it is your 18th birthday with cystic fibrosis, so congratulations and happy birthday. And what a way to start off this 65 Roses celebration.
It was great to see Mike Boyle under that halo of stars, and it was also wonderful. I hope that you all got a chance, if you tuned in just a little bit early, to see that montage for the pep rally. It is always a real pleasure to see the people all over this nation who are rallying to raise money for the cause. Hi, I'm Mike Beatty. Like so many others, I am a volunteer who's working as hard as he can to save the life of a person I love, and that person is sitting next to me today. Please understand that I'm the Sonny Bono of this pair, and I'll turn it over to Cher to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Piper Beatty Welsh. I am a 38-year-old living with cystic fibrosis. I've also had 2 double lung transplants, so been through a lot in the last 38 years, but I couldn't be more excited to be here today and to be supporting the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. As a personal note, I actually work on the foundation staff in the Community Partnerships Department. And it's just fantastic to be here today because I know that the real heart of what we do is in our fantastic community.
And how many attendees do we have?
So at last count, and this is the honest truth here, we have 2,265 attendees.
So we'd like to also introduce you to a couple of other people who will be helping us today. Megan Helmick is joining us from the Southwest Virginia chapter, and Sharon Cray is joining us from New Jersey, and they'll be helping us with chat. You want to explain how that's going to work?
Yeah, so you'll be able to see the event chat on the left side of your screen as you're looking at it. Use that as a place to connect with your fellow CF community members throughout the event. As I said, my dad and I have been watching already as that opening montage was playing, and we saw a bunch of you are already posting. That's fantastic. Introduce yourselves. We'd love to hear from you. We can be doing some special shout outs as you speak to us. And we're just really excited to interact with you as much as possible.
And here's something that's no surprise. Look, it's our 65th birthday, and we're doing everything we can to celebrate that. Normally, we would have celebrated it with a huge, huge event, but things being what they are, we've had to change. Now, that's not hard for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. If things are difficult, that's easy for us. We only get challenged when things are totally impossible. And then we do it, but we just take a little bit longer. Here's what's going to happen. We are going to celebrate those who have gone before us and the people who laid the foundation for, secondly, the tremendous progress we've made over the last 65 years. Third, we're going to renew that promise that we're going to get that final 10% and we're eventually going to get a cure. And fourth and finally, we're going to ask for some special help from all the rest of you. So I think that we really need to recognize this is an unusual time, but we've come together the way that we always do, and we're going to get through this. Now, what better way to start than by starting off with somebody that actually is part of the 65 Roses slogan that has been part of us for this past 65 years. Anthony Weiss was the son of the late Mary Weiss, and she was one of the early pioneers in the CF Foundation. A lot of you people, of course, know this story, but for those of you who are new and haven't heard it before, Anthony's brother Richard was listening to his mom on the phone one day as she was working hard for cystic fibrosis. And as she finished the call, he said, "I know what you were doing, Mom. You're working for a cure for 65 Roses." So as we gather today on 65 Roses Day, what better way to start off than to hear from the very person who was the subject of that, and that is Anthony Weiss. Let's hear from Anthony.
Hi, everybody. This is Anthony Weiss. And I was recently reflecting after turning 55 last month about an experience I had when I was a young boy, and the life expectancy was only 7 years old. And I was remembering with my two brothers, just thinking about what life had in store for us and what things were going to look like and how things were going to play out. And it really captured a moment in time where I had a lot of doubt. And then I was reflecting, given the 65 years of research and fundraising and what has happened over the course of my lifetime, and that is the single greatest standardization of care. Whether you work in one state or you're in school in another, that every CF patient, adult or child, will get this uniform treatment. And I cannot tell you how important that has been to allowing me to reach the ripe old age of 55. I had hair once before. And it has been very life-changing, literally. I did want to share with you when I turned 22 and started my first job after college that I was asked by the benefits manager on the first day of work if I wanted to sign up for the 401k plan. And it caught me off guard, and I was thinking to myself, do I really want to do this? because on the one hand, I could use that extra money to go out and party and, a little disposable income. But on the other hand, I had to decide and choose hope and focus on the possibility of what if I was able to live that long. And now I can say with confidence that that decision was right for me. And I hope that all of us can persevere in this time and maintain the hope. And I'm just excited to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you so much for supporting the foundation, to all the physicians, doctors, families, support, sponsors. You guys are amazing. Have a good one. Be safe. Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony. That really is a powerful representation of both our past and our future. At the time Anthony was born, his chances of survival for very long were extraordinarily slim, and yet here he is. And that's, as he said, a testament to our care model and the many breakthroughs that we've made over the course of time. It really is great to see that video.
I know for myself, as a person living with cystic fibrosis, it's really fantastic to hear from people like Anthony, who have been involved from the very earliest days and are still in this fight with us, and also from all of you all around the country who, whether you've been in it for years or you've just joined our community, we're really glad to have you. But it's not just Anthony. Over the past year, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation has asked a lot of people who have been involved throughout the last 65 years to offer their reflections to mark this important anniversary milestone. They offer some really diverse perspectives. They got involved at different times, and their stories have very different outcomes. But one thing remains consistent, and I think this is true across the board: the tenacity and commitment to the CF community.
When we started the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 65 years ago, no one had ever heard of this disease. And I'm not talking only about the community of parents, I'm talking about doctors. I think the average lifespan was then 5 years old. How unacceptable. I turned to my family, to my friends, and I said, we've got to go to work. And we did. And over the years, they stayed with me, and look where we've come.
There's adults, and more than half the community is over 18, which is incredible. And that is because of people at the foundation and the volunteers.
There's so many organizations out there that are just organizations. And the CF Foundation is, a family. You laugh, you cry, you share memories, you look forward to opportunities.
I didn't know anyone who had this disease other than Don, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what other people were going through. And all of a sudden I knew people who knew other people who had CF, and it's really great to have something with force behind it.
The CF Foundation makes me crazy with emotion. We still have a lot of work to do, and we still have a ways to go, but it's rewarding seeing results year after year after year.
Back when Dylan was diagnosed, the promise was, yes, 10 years for a cure. And we've seen progress made towards that, with all these modulators and all the drugs that have gone through the pipeline and venture philanthropy and all of the things that the foundation has so brilliantly pulled together. The future is extremely bright.
We could not be more excited to be partnered with a greater, more professional, more driven group of family members. And they're our family, and forever will be. And we love them.
Do you know, when people receive the news of a cystic fibrosis diagnosis now, it appears that it's not quite as frightening as it was. I think one of our big responsibilities now is to let these people know we're not done. There's still treatments that are necessary. Just because we have a 3 or a triple cocktail doesn't mean it's all gone. We need to still work for it. We need to help. We need to give each other support so that we can deal with the physical, the medical, and emotional consequences of this disease.
With all this hope and optimism, are that group, 90%, going to leaving that 10% just sitting there? And it's so true. You can't wait to bring everybody past that finish line. It's like the people that cross that finish line run back and get the other people and carry them over. You know, that's that feeling.
I will always be involved with CF until we find that cure. And it's inspirational to see that there's so many of us that are here working towards that common goal. And I know that we're going to make it.
It's a real honor to be able to participate in the 65 years of progress that the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation has made. It was also great to hear from Anthony Weiss. I can remember his mom and her passion. There were no stones unturned in her effort to find cures for cystic fibrosis. I can remember the day that she came to us and it raised $1 million. And it was to start our research development program. We had gone out and committed to start our first center at the University of Alabama, but we didn't have the money in the bank. And Mary came back with $1 million gift. It was so critical to starting the research development program. It's great to have this program emceed by Piper and Mike Beatty. I can remember Piper when she was 6 years old, and how she could instill so much passion and commitment at the celebrity ski event for so many years. It's also fun to be joined by Doris Tolson, talking about the old days in cystic fibrosis, the beginning of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. They were innovative years. They started the CF Foundation network of care centers. There were 4 centers in 1965. They also started the patient registry. And these 2 programs are still critical to the programs that we have today and to the successes that we have at the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. You know, we had some disappointments during this in making the progress that we see today. But the most important thing to remember is that where we are today and the successes we see today have occurred because we have a team. We have a community that shares ideas, and they are passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with cystic fibrosis. But you know, when I look to the future, I'm even more excited. With the new program, Path to a Cure, we can take advantage of new technology and to bring together the programs of the past, the new people that we brought to the foundation, the resources that we're going to continue to have to maintain, to support the programs, to make the shots on goal that are so critical to our success. So thank you for allowing me to participate today. Congratulations to everyone who has made our success possible. But more importantly, I'm so excited about what the future holds for people with cystic fibrosis. Thank you.
Piper, isn't it great to hear from Bob Bell again? I've got to say that one thing that's always been true is that the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation has had exactly the right leader for exactly the right moment. Bob Dressing was able to take us from an anonymous strip mall to a truly national organization. Of course, Bob Bell was able to use cutting-edge technology in order to get us to Kalydeco. Preston Campbell got us from Kalydeco to Trikafta. And Mike Boyle is the person who's going to get that last 10% and eventually a cure for cystic fibrosis. That is quite a lineup of power hitters. and we couldn't be more pleased with the progress that we've made. It's a lot more than we ever thought when you were born.
And I also want to say a very heartfelt thank you to the other folks that you heard from: Doris, Summer, Brian, Linda, Wayne, Lou and Pam, Richard, Margaret and Mark, and Gail, who all shared their reflections with us. Thanks so much for sharing your stories and for inspiring us all. What a long way we have come. I think, as my dad mentioned, when I was diagnosed in 1981, the doctors told them to take her home and love her as long as you have her. But we're not there anymore. That is no longer the CF story. And that's thanks to all of you. To help highlight all that has changed, we have a very special mission moment to share with you right now from Mark Tremblay and his mother, Giselle Tremblay, who are both from New York State.
My name's Mark Tremblay, and was diagnosed at 18 months with cystic fibrosis. In the early days of cystic fibrosis, there just wasn't a lot of treatment.
No, we did everything for Mark all the time. The whole family, all the brothers and the whole family was always in favor of doing what was good for Mark. A little baby that is so skinny, I was always willing to go for anything that could help a little bit. It was, to me, never giving up. Never, 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 never. Hey, God is good, and we'll find something. There's going to be something coming up. It was just in me to fight.
She would hang on to the thinnest of threads to get hope. And I kind of just instinctually started doing that, in my own life.
So you have cystic fibrosis, so big deal. You just can do anything that you put your mind to. I always said that to all my children. So fighting for his life was the biggest fight that we had, but we were very happy to do it.
By her having that fighting spirit, even when I got older and had to do a lot more medical treatment myself, I was more able to do that and to kind of like adopt that mindset because I saw her do it. So I knew, if my mom was fighting CF this way, then I have to continue that to kind of justify all the fighting that she did. The foundation was born of a mother's love. Two women got together with the question in their mind of what can we do for our sick kids? They started this organization out of love. Just like my mom, there was nothing they wouldn't do. There was no wall they wouldn't kick down.
Yeah.
There was no barrier they wouldn't climb. They moved heaven and earth to support these companies. It's no surprise that they had a huge role in developing some of the powerful modulators. If those ladies were alive today, if they could see what their idea, what their love brought forth, oh man, they'd be in awe.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you especially for your mom, Giselle. She certainly made a difference in those early years. Incidentally, that message of hope and tenacity certainly characterized all of the people in the early days of the foundation. But I want everyone to know, if you've ever attended a VLC, you know that same spirit of hope and tenacity characterizes the people who are active in the foundation at this very day.
And I really want to invite you guys to share your thoughts on Mark's message and on the power of a mother's love in the chat. I know for me, my family has just been a huge part of my life with cystic fibrosis. And I always like to say, no one does it alone. We have families that we were born with, we have families that we make, and that's all part of how we succeed and how we thrive. I know in my case, not only is my dad a volunteer, but my mother, who works with our home chapter in the Rocky Mountain area, and also my sister, who works with the Greater New York chapter, are also very involved. With that sort of reminder about family, let me tell you all about one of our great virtual events that we sponsor with the CF Foundation. Family Con is coming up at the end of this month, and registration is now open. You can find a link to register for that in the resources tab on the left side of your screen. We really encourage everyone with a CF family member, as well as people with cystic fibrosis, to join us for great conversation, awesome speakers, and some good breakouts.
Yeah, and let me just say something for my generation, which is, I know that we don't engage in chat boxes all that often, but I really would like to hear from you with regard to the things that went on in those early days of the foundation with your own experiences with cystic fibrosis. I've enjoyed telling stories about how Piper hit her digestive enzymes with other people. Those early days are different than they are today, but they're still something that's important for all of us to hear. Can I turn this to Great Strides?
I think that's a great idea. I've got my I Stride t-shirt on.
That's a good thing to do. Well, look, Great Strides was coming up. It's obviously been a little bit impacted by today, but nonetheless, we've got Mandy from Sandy, and I really couldn't miss up on saying that. We've got Mandy Sherman from Sandy, Utah, and we've got Toby Husa from Astoria, Oregon, who are our Great Strides ambassadors for this year, and we'd love to hear from them now.
Hey guys, it's Mandy Sherman, your 2020 National Great Strides Ambassador. There's no better time than now to do something like this.
And I'm Toby Husa, and we're your National Great Strides Ambassadors for 2020.
We recognize Great Strides events may not be happening right now, but one thing we are used to is missing out on events due to hospital stays and the threat of getting sick. Don't worry, we will be back with our teams when all this is over.
I'm sad we can't do Great Strides this year, but I've missed other years because I'm sick. With CF, you just get back up next time.
Everybody is being affected by the COVID-19 pandemic differently. Luckily, those of us in our CF community, we have been prepared. Everything COVID-19 is requiring everybody else to do, we have already been practicing for years. We're excellent social distancers, staying 6 feet apart. We already carry hand sanitizers around with us and wear masks when we go to public events or on airplanes. And we all know we are excellent hand washers.
Yeah, with COVID-19, I'm just doing most of the stuff that I usually do.
17, 18, 19, 20.
Hey Mandy, do you need some disinfecting wipes for your door handles?
Toby, thank you. You're the man. Thank you for being a part of our Great Strides efforts. It's because of people like you who continue to show up for us that one day we will make CF stand for Cure Found.
How about typing the name of the person you fight for in the chat box?
I fight for my wife.
I fight for my mom.
From the bottom of our lungs, thank you for everything you do for the CF Foundation to make CF stand for Cure Found.
All right, that was awesome. Mandy and Toby, you guys are so inspiring. And Toby, that is one of the better hand washing techniques I have ever seen. On a personal note to Mandy, I think the hair shift was a wonderful piece of that. It was so inspiring that I decided that I would do it myself. So that's what I've got going on now.
Yeah, well, you have to do it by either dyeing your hair or putting on a wig. I want you to know that I did this naturally, and you were the cause for most of it. Look, incidentally, let me just add, we've got to say a shout out and a thank you to all the local Great Strides ambassadors and leaders that we've had. They really do make a difference. Because of all the things that have changed, we'd love to hear from more and more of you on the chat room. It's a great time and an opportunity for you to do that. And it also gives us an opportunity to listen to Ruby Stewart. Ruby is a college student at the University of Maryland, and she's going to share with us her journey. She's one of the nonsense mutation 10%. So it's important to hear her story and to hear her journey.
Hi, I'm Ruby Stewart, and I'm a junior at the University of Maryland. When I was born in 1999, they didn't have the newborn screening mandated across the state, so I wasn't diagnosed at birth. I continuously had lung infections and I couldn't get better. My doctor and my parents knew that something was wrong. They just didn't know what it was. A family friend brought up the salty kiss diagnosis story. My parents took me to go get tested and it was positive and I have CF. When I was around 12 years old, I started to realize that it's really important to raise awareness for CF and not to hide or run away from it. Point blank, there's nothing to hide from. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm simply different and everyone's different. You know, this was just my way. Since then, I've been very upfront, you know, about CF and about how I have CF. I mean, I would say everyone who knows me knows I have it. And that's how I want it to be. Because I have a nonsense mutation, I am not eligible for Trikafta. When Trikafta did get approved, I just felt joy for all of my best friends with CF in the community. I mean, I was just so happy for them. I think that for a little bit of time, I expected to be put on the back burner. I was surprised because the second that the medication was approved, the CF Foundation started going on the fact that, you know, we're not done. There's still that 10% who needs a new medication, and there's still 100% of CFers who need a cure. You know, CF is a very isolating disease, but with this community all around us, it's no longer isolating. The CF community, the first word I think of when I think of them, I think of support. It is this never-ending amount of support that comes through the community, whether it be through the care centers, whether it be through the people who work at the CF Foundation, or the people with CF themselves. It's a never-ending amount of support. And if we all continue to keep working together and raising awareness for CF and working towards a cure, imagine how far we will go in the future.
Thank you so much, Ruby. That was a great message of optimism and hope. I'm also loving checking out the chat right now because I love that all of you are sharing who you walk for and who you fight for in your daily lives.
You know, Piper, it's not just that we've got a phenomenal team of individuals who work to find a cure. It's also true that we've got some incredible corporate sponsors. We want to recognize two of them today, especially. They've been with us for 35 of the 65 years that we've been in existence, American Airlines and AbbVie. Let me, first of all, just talk about American Airlines for a minute, because I can recall when you were 4 years old and we took you to your very first American Airlines celebrity ski event. At the time, what we'd do is Kathleen and I would trade off. One person would take you out of the room and the other person would talk to the group. And the reason we did it was because we didn't want you to learn just exactly how miserable the forecast was for what you were going to face in your life. But because of people like American Airlines, we've been able to completely change that prediction. And you're with us today, which I'm thrilled for, and can't say thank you to American Airlines enough. Who's our other sponsor?
Well, you know, while you were taking me out of the room for the American Airlines speeches, I will say there was one event that I was always allowed to attend in full. And I think every person with CF and every CF family looks forward to this event, maybe more than any all year. And that's Great Strides. And Great Strides is made possible by our title sponsor for that, which is AbbVie. I know for me, ever since it started in the late 1980s, I was there. I cared about it. I had my team. We had our matching t-shirts. That's my dog, Winston. He also really appreciates Great Strides. It's his favorite event. And we're just, I can't share enough how much AbbVie's support has meant to us through the years. Now we're going to hear some special messages of hope from those two sponsors. We're going to welcome a video from Jim Butler and American Airlines and Lisa Pizer and Mike Brodsky of AbbVie.
Hi, it's an honor to be with you today to celebrate the 65th anniversary of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. On behalf of the team at American Airlines, thank you for an amazing 35 years of partnership. I'm honored to represent a company that supports the CF Foundation in finding a cure for this disease. Here at American Airlines, our community investment initiatives are very important to us. As part of that, we dedicate money, advantage miles, and volunteer hours from our team to the CF Foundation. A few months ago, we hosted the 35th annual celebrity ski event where we raised more than $1.2 million to support CF research initiatives, and over the years, we've raised more than $40 million in support of CF. This fight is also deeply personal to me and my family. My wife Sharon's brother and sister-in-law, Gary and Carrie, both have CF. For years, I've seen firsthand the daily battles they face. When my brother-in-law was first diagnosed, he was told he would not be a teenager. Over the years, we've seen how survival rates have changed dramatically due to research funded by the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. It is because of your incredible devotion that in late April, my brother-in-law celebrated his 50th birthday. So you can imagine why I'm so proud to represent a company that has such a deep commitment to making CF stand for Cure Found. We're continually blown away by the commitment of our team members who volunteer for Celebrity Ski and other CF events around the country, including Great Strides. We go further to achieve more as a team, but what is really exciting is watching all the advancements and improved treatments that each of you at the CF Foundation has helped accomplish over the last several years. Thank you for your tenacity and your focus, bringing us one step closer to a cure. We are proud to fight for a cure alongside you. So once again, happy anniversary, and thank you to the whole CF team for your continued partnership.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Pizer.
And I'm Mike Brodsky.
And we're from the leadership team at AbbVie. We are so proud and grateful to be here today on behalf of our partnership with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. AbbVie has a long history, over 30 years, of being committed to more than medicine with the cystic fibrosis community. We've partnered with patients, parents, families, physicians, nurses, and organizations to develop initiatives that support families and people living with CF.
We walk alongside you in cities across the country each year for Great Strides to raise awareness, fund research, and remind families that you are not alone in this fight. We recognize the financial burdens that exist for many families. So for the past 28 years, AbbVie has awarded the AbbVie CF Scholarship to young adults with CF as they pursue goals of higher education.
This scholarship recognizes exceptional students with CF who demonstrate academic excellence, community involvement, creativity, and the ability to serve as a positive role model for the CF community.
By working together, we hope to make a positive impact on people's lives, and AbbVie remains dedicated to finding new ways to help this community.
So on behalf of AbbVie and the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, thank you for your dedication and efforts to raise funds for research and development to find a cure for cystic fibrosis. We are here by your side until it's done.
So thank you to American Airlines and to AbbVie, but I also want to make a special effort to say thank you to our other lead sponsors. They deserve recognition too. That includes Vertex, Genentech, Gilead, and Mylan. They're phenomenal people, and we appreciate all of their help every single day.
And all that they do to support the CF community. So now we've got a really special treat, and I'll let her introduce it, but we're really excited to hear from Sarah Jurens and her daughter Eleanor from Oregon.
Elle's in our room, and we're watching shows on this Saturday morning, and she's having her breakfast with some cheese and granola and fruit and yogurt. And she's got her pills. She's already taken her Creon. About how many pills would you say you have to take in a day?
50-ish.
About 50 per day, right? Yeah, just 12 just with breakfast, huh? And that doesn't count even Miralax. So it's quite a bit, right? But you're used to it. You've been doing it since you were pretty much born, huh?
Hi, my name is Eleanor. I'm 9 years old and I was diagnosed with CF before birth. It is a disease that affects your lungs and extra mucus, and you have to do breathing every day.
Eleanor doing her morning routine.
For me, I do reading every day. I take Kaleido and Crayon are one of my two main pills.
What is one of your favorite things to do?
Contortion, for sure.
You like to do contortion? You want to show us some of your contortion moves?
Well, there's some stuff that I can't do.
Okay. Oh my gosh. That's pretty incredible.
I am a contortionist. It's really fun. I do stuff like bending backwards and bending my leg.
Feet down.
And I do gymnastics too.
Get away from me, monster lady.
And I do a bunch of activities and sports and stuff.
How long you been bike riding for, Elle?
4 seconds. We have to do school at home since of coronavirus and stuff. It's super fun to do school at home. And I like to ride my bike. It's really fun. And yeah. Recently I got a pool at my dad's, a tiny pool at my dad's house, and it's really fun to swim in it, but it's really cold water. That is my dad.
So you live with me for half the time, right? And then half the time, where else do you live?
With my dad.
With your dad. And do you want to introduce the other part of your family?
Sure.
Okay, who are these gorgeous kids?
So this is Annabelle right here, the one in the bluish dress. This is Search holding her stuffed penguin Nunny. It's weird. And this is me holding Arth, my little brother, who's about to get angry. His little toes. This is my stepmom, Emily. She runs our little homeschool thing at school since we're in quarantine.
So nice.
And yeah, that's it.
Thank you for sharing.
So this is my mom. Her name is Sarah. She is 40 years old, and she helps out with CF and stuff, donates money and stuff, and goes to a bunch of like chef dinners and stuff. It helps me do my breathing, gets it ready. It's over there. And she gives my stepsister olives.
This is true. I do provide nutrition.
She provides nutrition and olives.
That's right.
She also provides dogs.
Best introduction ever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's go this way. Let's go this way.
Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. My family is so grateful for the support of the Foundation and continually inspired by the scientific advancements we have seen just in Eleanor's lifetime. We also know we have a lot of work left to find a cure. So to help the CF Foundation stay the course and achieve its mission, my family's foundation is offering a $250,000 challenge. For each new monthly recurring donation of any amount to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the Jurens Family Foundation will make a $1,000 contribution to the CF Foundation up to 250 new members, or $250,000. The challenge details and a link to sign up are posted in the chat. Let's make CF stand for Cure Found.
Thank you so much to the Jurens family. That is an incredible show of generosity. And incidentally, let me emphasize this for everyone. What this is this is a challenge match, so that if you are a new recurring donor, you will qualify for the match. It's not some financial limit with regard to how much you have to give. You just have to be a new recurring donor. That's what's critical. And incidentally, in order to do that, you go to cff.org/give-monthly, cff.org/give-monthly. That's the way that you qualify for this particular match. And this is kicking off what is going to be our 65 Roses Challenge for our 65th anniversary. Let's make no bones about it. We've all of a sudden been impacted by the events of this particular year. And so we've got to do some things to play catch up. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a series of challenges over the course of the remainder of this year with our goal of raising $65 million. Folks, we can do that. Doris Tolson, you heard from her earlier, never said, hey, we can't do that. We're not going to say that now either. We can get this done. We just need to all pull together in order to do it. Remember, the CF Foundation is the author of the most remarkable story in medicine. We have overcome so much. We have done so much. We have so much more left to do, and we can get it done with your help.
I think Toby said it best when he said, thank you from the very bottom of our lungs. The truth is, people like me, people like Toby are alive because of what the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation has done in the last 65 years. And it's not the CFF, it's the people behind it. And that's each and every one of you. We need you to join with us to help keep this progress on track and to make sure that every single person with CF has a full chance to live life to all of their potential. This Duran's Family Challenge, as I understand it, is just going to be the first of many over the course of the rest of this year that will ensure that we can meet our $65 million challenge and that we can make CF truly stand for Cure Found.
Let me just say that when we say that you've made a difference in people's lives, that's very easy for the Beatty family to say. When Piper was confronted with that first transplant operation, she wouldn't have made it to the point of the transplant had it not been for compassionate use for an antibiotic that kept her alive long enough to get to the operating room. Over and over again, people have found that the CF Foundation has come through for them. And they will come through again for all the people who have cystic fibrosis and ultimately for a cure for this disease. First time ultimately that any genetic disease will be cured. And we can do that because of what we've already done that people said couldn't be done. We can get this done. So let's start now with the Duran's Challenge. Again, if for a new recurring donor, you will qualify for this match. The way you do that is go to cff.org/give-monthly, and you'll qualify for that match. I know that a lot of you have given in the past. I know that we're asking you to give more, but we're also asking you to go out, talk to your friends, talk to your relatives, talk to everybody that you can, maybe by long distance and maybe by Zoom, any way that you can do it. But we've got to meet this $65 million challenge. It's critical for us. It's critical for the things that we have planned. It's critical going forward that we be successful.
I absolutely couldn't agree more. And we also know that we're going to do it. I have found over and over again that there is no group more capable of coming together at just the right time. As what my dad said, the story he told about my first transplant, I literally got access to that drug on compassionate use. It would not have been available to me if we had not had every dollar. Seconds count with CF, moments count, and that means dollars count. Even if you're thinking, I can't give as much this year as I've given in the past, or maybe my donation won't be as significant as I want it to be, give it anyway. You can make a difference and you can extend hope and extend the lives of people living with CF.
So what did we say that at the beginning that we were going to do? We were going to celebrate those people who went before us. We were going to celebrate the progress that we've made as a result of the work that they've done. We would renew our promise that we're going to get there to the finish line and get that final 10% and ultimately a cure. And fourth and finally, we were going to ask for your help. And that's what we are doing now. And we do that as a community. As Piper and I always say, how do we get that done, Piper? We get it done together. So thank you very much for watching today. We appreciate our 65 Roses celebration. We appreciate all of the people who were able to participate, both online and through the chats, and who were presenters today. You've made a tremendous difference. We love you all.
And I just want to say on a personal note, Dad, you mentioned all of the different things that we were going to do together. But one of the things that he left off that I was surprised by, sort of, although it's happened before, is just how inspiring it is to be with all of you. I know that we've been watching this chat box, hearing the names of the people you are fighting for, seeing the thank yous to the people who have helped us get this far, hearing the personal stories. even reading the fun Great Strides team names, which I always think are the most creative thing in the CF community, has been just a joy. So thank you for bringing some fun and some levity into this celebration. We hope that you feel this as a time of joy and a time of hope in a year that's been pretty tough.
And incidentally, just a final comment. Right before we went online, Jane Fuller from Utah all of a sudden said, I'm a grandparent of a person just born with cystic fibrosis. Bonnie Binker, thank you. You were on her like a hawk on a June bug saying, it's time you join Grampians. It's just part of joining this community. You're going to find that we never say die, we never say quit. So, Piper, thanks. It's been a pleasure to be with you. And thank you to everybody out there.
I wish I could say the same, but I have enjoyed being with all of them. So from all of us, thank you so much. Thank you from our family. Thank you to our incredible sponsors that we've heard from. And we can't wait to see you again in person soon.
Bye-bye.